Yes, thank you. So these were the lines which we already covered, starting on page number 38. This was the last para that we covered. So again, referring to Ashwapati's experiences, these are very, 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 very human experiences. There is nothing here which you as a human being, I as a human being, we cannot touch. It's nothing of philosophy and theory. These are all lived experiences by Sri Aurobindo and also by other human beings. We are all alike. Yeah. So when we begin to enthrone the power of discernment, vivek, the light of understanding within our own being, then everything becomes very, very clear to us. Here, uh, uh, I think here, yeah, in the blue lines, an inspired knowledge sat enthroned within. So this inspired knowledge usually is always present within us as the light of understanding, but owing to the momentum of our tendencies, owing to the emotional patterns, thought patterns, we are not able to give it the throne. We make the king a beggar sitting at the corner. Yeah. And all the tendencies, all the thought patterns, emotional patterns, they rule our being. So owing to the wisdom that is growing in Ashwapati, now this inspired knowledge sat enthroned within. The right king has the right and proper place in his being, and that is what is needed for us if we really want to live a beautiful life as human beings. If we don't want to live a life of suffering, misery, stuck in our emotional conflicts, mental conflicts, because that is not our true consciousness. That's why we suffer. No person on this earth likes to suffer, but we suffer. All of us suffer. Now suffering is there for a reason. Suffering is there telling me that while you have made tendencies and emotional patterns and thought patterns the king in your being, that is not the right place. The right place to be the king is for the right light of understanding. What is good for me and the other person? So usually in the name of love, the torture that we do in our relationships is that we make other people weaker, and we make ourselves weaker by depending on other people, and that we call it in the name of love. But while if we are enthroning now the light of understanding as the king in our being, that if the light of understanding says this is not good for me and the other person, no matter how hard it will be for me to follow it, I will follow it. This is listening to the dictate of discernment. Now, this was shining in Ashwapati. So, this is nothing extraordinary. This is very, very ordinary and can be gotten in this very human life, this state. And this is our birthright, to live by the discernment, to live by goodwill, to live by the light of understanding is our birthright. Otherwise, if we keep on living by our tendencies, thought patterns, emotional patterns, the way of behavior, what I think of myself, the mental opinions, the suffering is going to be unending in my life. So this is a beautiful possibility with Sri Aurobindo is reflecting here in these paragraphs, and they go further. So now we will read the new lines for today. I'll just color these lines. Yeah. So if one of you who has not read so far would like to read these new lines in a brief moment caught. Yeah, anyone who has not read so far would like to go first? Uh,
I can go.
Yeah, please do. Yeah.
In a brief moment caught a little space, all knowledge packed into great wordless thoughts, lodged in the expectant stillness of his depths, a crystal of the ultimate absolute, a portion of the inexpressible truth, revealed by silence to the silent soul.
Yes. So now, usually, how we go through human experiences is we always are resisting. If a relationship is dying, I am resisting. If a job is not working well, I am resisting. If some changes are happening in my family, in my work life, in the globe, I am just resisting. Yeah. So this is how we go through normally, ordinary, the ordinary human consciousness. This is how we go about it. We resist the happenings of our life. Now, this, if we begin to not resist, the acceptance is already there, because if the universe has allowed that to happen, so the universe is allowing it. Who am I to say no to it? Yeah. So I just have to stop resisting. Now, the moment I stop resisting to the external happenings of my life, a deep silence enters the being, as if the fight is over now. You're not fighting with the universe. The disease is there and you are okay with the disease. It's not that you're not doing anything to manage it. You're not resisting the disease. You're not asking, oh God, how are you so cruel? How could you give me the disease? No, this is not happening. This resistance is not there. So, in those moments when this resistance to human experiences goes away, there is a deep, deep allowance to the happenings of life, a deep allowance. And in that silence of the being, in a brief moment, caught a little space, ज़्यादा समय नहीं चाहिए उसके लिए, ज़्यादा जगह नहीं चाहिए, it does not require much space in your life. Just in a brief, still moment of your being, all knowledge packed into great wordless thoughts, some things begin to make sense. Things begin to make sense. Why the relationship had to break, so that I must become capable and independent and reclaim my power back to myself. This only I realize later, when the silence is there, when the resistance has gone away. These dots connect, not before that. This is the beauty. Maybe I got a illness, yeah, and if I am struggling with the illness, resisting the illness, then the dots will not become clear. Then the knowledge cannot get packed into this knowing, in this deep knowing, that oh my God, I needed to go through that phase in my life, so that I could know that I was just showing it off, or it was just my vital, it was not my true self. So these things become only clear to us when there is a deep allowance in the being towards the external happenings in human life. The resistance is not there. In presence of the resistance, our vision is concealed. We cannot see clearly, because I'm just wanting the things to get one particular way with my mental rigidity and opinions. So it obscures the larger vision. But in this deep allowance, which Ashwapati is experiencing now, all knowledge packed into great wordless thoughts. Words are not needed there. It just makes sense. You just know that it happened right. It just had to happen that way. Why? Because you had to learn those experiences. It could not have been possible for you to grow and to progress if the external situations continued to be the similar way. Somehow, as human beings, just knowing also that everything in life is fleeting, everything in life is changing, up and downs are bound to happen, even then we cling to things and people and situation. We just have this mental stubbornness that they should not go away. Everybody can go away, but my loved ones should not go away. This is the stubbornness that we live with. This is the vital stubbornness that we live with. So all those fleeting experiences of life are wanting us to push inside our being, so that we begin to now live a deeper life, and not the life of a vital, not the life of our tendencies and patterns, because we cannot be happy ever there. Now, this knowledge, this deep knowing, lodged in the expectant stillness of his depths, everything in his being is totally still and silent. And owing to the silence presence, this deep knowing of connecting dots in external situations also. This happens automatically through inspiration, through insight. Everything just begins to make sense. A crystal of the ultimate absolute. Crystal is usually, first of all, multifaceted, and it can shine light through any angle. So inspiration is like that. The light of knowing is like that. No matter whatever challenge you give it, it will find out the light. It will reflect the light very, very clearly through any bloody challenge that you are going through. This is the quality of inspiration, of insight, of deep knowing. So this deep knowing, this intuitive wisdom lodged itself in the depths of Ashwapati's being. He knew that all has been happening for a particular higher reason. All the dots connected, a portion of the inexpressible truth revealed by silence to the silent soul. In silence, something got revealed to the silent soul. Only in silence and stillness this can happen. Usually we are not silent, usually we are not still. Why? Because the surface being just wants too much, expects too much from the life to change. It says that all this should change so that I can be content, peaceful and happy, and all that never changes. So it always remains restless and demanding and expecting and in misery. It does not realize that all that, even if it changes or not changes, rest and absolute stillness is present 24/7 with each one of us in our lives. So access that rest first, and then things can change or not change. The first and foremost is to access that stillness in the depths of our being, and then slowly to make it a part of our surface life also. This is our challenge. Yeah. So these are the revelations, being revealed to Ashwapati, one after the another, one after the another. And these revelations are revelations of our own human life. These are not philosophical revelations at all. Sri Aurobindo's own experiences, mother's own experiences, and I'm sure all of us who have been connected with Savitri, who go through these lines, they have come to Savitri because it resonates with human life. It's not theory, it's not philosophy. As we grow in our experiences, it begins to, the words begin to become alive for us. They make sense. Yeah. So just keep sharing if you have anything in between to share, any reflections, anything. Else I'll just keep on going ahead. So now Sri Aurobindo talks of inspiration in these passages, coming passages. He's talking of how inspiration is coming with and bringing so many gifts to Ashwapati. Yeah. So the intense creatrix is the inspiration itself. So who would like to go next? Read the yellow lines.
Yeah. The intense creatrix in his stillness wrought. Her power, fallen speechless, grew more intimate. She looked upon the seen and the unforeseen. Unguessed domains she made her native field.
Yes. So now this power of inspiration, why is it there? We all as human beings, we struggle for, why am I not getting inspired? Why is inspiration absent from my life? First comes silence. Silence of the mind, silence of the heart, and silence of your whole being. And only then inspiration has some space to be there. Yeah, only then. So now, owing to the silence present in Ashwapati's being, this intense creatrix is a female version of creator, you know this intense creatrix in the form of inspiration, she is working, she's at work in Ashwapati's being. Something is being worked upon in his stillness, in Ashwapati's stillness. Wrought, usually wrought is the word used for iron. When the work is done on iron, wrought iron we say, when iron is hammered into particular shapes, to make something beautiful out of it, to say make something useful out of it, then we use the word wrought. So this task is not an easy task, to work on our tendencies, patterns, behaviors, age old tendencies, lifetimes old tendencies. This is not an easy task. But now, owing to the presence of stillness, this intense creatrix, which is inspiration, she is able to work, she is able to hammer as if Ashupati is being into a beautiful form from within. She is working in his stillnesses. Her power, fallen speechless, grew more intimate. Now, imagine you see two lovers sitting, so-called lovers sitting next to each other. Many a times words are required, but many a times if the love is deep, you just are there or not there with each other, even then the love is present. So this, inspiration, even now when she's not really speaking it out, the words are not spoken out from Ashupati's being, she is working in her own silence in Ashupati's being, and in a more intimate manner, in a very deeply intimate manner, as if she is one with Ashupati. Inspiration has become one with Ashupati's being, because she is finding so much stillness and silence in his being, and has a lot of space for the work to be done. So her power, fallen speechless, grew more intimate. She looked upon the seen and the foreseen, unforeseen. So all those fields which were already in Ashupati's domain, from owing to the mind, and also those domains which are beyond the mind, which Ashupati has not so far witnessed, they are all seen at once by inspiration. She is able to take Ashupati to greater horizons, those horizons which the ordinary human mind cannot touch. Even those, the higher mind, the illumined mind, the over mind, the super mind, everywhere she is able to take Ashupati, owing to now his readiness. Usually we are not ready, that is why we are not there. Yeah, the moment I say yes, I am ready, there is nothing else in my life that I want but this continuing progress, only then this can happen. So a readiness from the being has to be there. Yeah, this intense creatrix in his stillness wrought, her power, fallen speechless, grew more intimate. She looked upon the seen and the unforeseen, all that is so far unmanifested, all that is seen by inspiration. Unguessed domains she made her native field. What can we guess about? Usually when we talk about guessing, we are only in the domain of the mind. All that I can guess about is of the mind. Now, when Sri Aurobindo says here, unguessed domain, that which is not of the mind, of the field of thought and the ordinary human mind, even those vast spaces, creative spaces, became available to Ashupati's consciousness. So this is expansion of consciousness, human consciousness. The veils of ignorance are being shed and the consciousness is expanding into the infinite. And this capacity is not only for one human being. This is available to each and every human being alive on this planet. This is our highest possibility. Only when we will be leaving our sweets and candies and lollies and our addictions, our stubbornnesses to live a way, the way I have been living so far. We are so addicted to a lifestyle that we don't want to progress. We just want our own addictions, older addictions. So Sri Aurobindo is giving us a new addiction. He is saying, even if you want to get addicted to infinite, so that you never have to stop. This is the newest addiction that we can give ourselves. Yeah? And this addiction will have the capacity to make us progressive throughout, so long as we remain in the human form. Yeah, that is the possibility, the higher possibility that Sri Aurobindo exposes for each one of us. Yes.
Yes, Monica, yes. This addiction will remove other addictions. Yes. Very true. Very true. Yeah.
Yes. So we don't have to, just elaborating upon it, because Chitra ji also touched upon it. And I think it's very, very important, because we are all addicted. Either we are addicted to our thought patterns, either we are addicted to our relationships, or we are addicted to a way of life, a way of thinking, a way of behaving. We are all addicted. We are all addicts. Now, knowing that we are addicts, what can be done? When we go to rehabilitation centers, when we go undergo de-addiction, when we undergo de-addiction of cigarette or alcohol and all that, there, only by removing the addiction, they don't work. In rehabilitation centers, they don't work only by removing the addiction. They give you a better task. They give you a task in which you are so exhausted working so much that you don't have time for rest, little trivial addictions in your life. So this Sri Aurobindo and Mother have left us such a deep vast knowledge, the synthesis of yoga, life divine, all the volumes of collected works, that even a lifetime of study will fall short if you really want to be sincere on this path. So give yourself such a beautiful and deep addiction which takes care of all the trivial addictions of your life. And in this beautiful addiction, we will not be suffering. Suffering is only there when the wrong thing is at the right place. When we have given the throne to our tendencies and patterns, only then suffering can be there. When the throne is given to discernment and the ability to think rightly, ability to understand rightly, there is no capacity, there is no space for the suffering to be there. So slowly suffering diminishes, it goes away. It has done his job. The postman has delivered its letter. Yeah. So this is a possibility with each one of us here. So who would like to read the lines in pink, the coming lines?
All vision gathered into a single ray, as when the eyes stare at an invisible point, thrilled through the intensity of one luminous spot, an apocalypse of a world of images enters into the kingdom of the seer.
Yes. So this is a reference of a yogic experience. All vision gathered into a single ray, very direct vision. Usually with our two eyes, we are just seeing all the physical realities. Yeah, with the vision that we have, the eyes that we have, the physical senses, we are only able to see all that is available to the physical senses. We are not able to go beyond what is there lying beyond the face value. We are not able to see there. Now, this vision, this deeper vision that Ashupati is getting, it may also be a reference to opening of the vision of the third eye, as they say, but I will not go there because it is very deluding in nature. Then we often get stuck into those experiences, and that's why I avoid or refrain going into spiritual experiences, because going on the spiritual path, we are not moving on the spiritual path for spiritual experiences. We are moving on the spiritual path so that we can make this life better and better each day. It's not that now earlier I was craving for some worldly desires. Now I am craving for spiritual experiences, opening of the third eye or this chakra or that chakra. So that is why in my limited knowledge, I avoid going into those experiences. They may happen, may not happen, but that is not the central aim of my path. Yeah, that is just a gift that may be given, and even when it is taken away, I don't bother myself much with that. Yeah. So all vision gathered into a single ray. Usually our way of thinking is all scattered. We are all scattered here and there. One part is saying this, the other part of the being is saying that, the vital is saying something else, your physical wants something else, the light of understanding says something else, the deeper voice. So I'm very scattered. I'm not collected. Now, owing to this enthronement of the power of discernment and inspirational, he has made them their central king. The ruler is the power of discernment, the ruler is the power of understanding. that which is beneficial for me and the people around, only that path will be taken, whether it hurts me very, very badly. I am very sthit pragya in that manner. I have just taken a very stone hard stand. Yeah, that which is beneficial for me and the other, only that would be done, no matter how deeply hurtful it may be. Now, once this has been done, all vision gathered into a single pointed ray, the single ray of honesty, of wisdom, as when the eyes stare at an invisible point, till through the intensity of one luminous spot, an apocalypse of a world of images enters into the kingdom of the seer. So now what is happening? Apocalypse is a revelation. It's coming from the Bible, the word used in Bible. It's a revelation when things are revealed to me. Once I begin to give the power of discernment the central status in my life, then things begin to make sense. Things are revealed to me. Why my relationship went in that direction, why it was needed to for it to go into that direction. It is revealed to me because I was becoming dependent on it, because I was becoming addicted to it. Yeah. Why my work had to undergo such a misery? Because this and this was happening. Yeah. So all this revelation came in bountiful, to Ashwapati, owing to the seat of discernment being given as the king. The king is now the discernment, Vivek, the power of right knowing, deep knowing. This enters into the kingdom of the seer. Seer, Rishi, a one who can see beyond the face value of things. So all this capacity, friends, is lying untapped within each one of us. We are all seers. No person is less, no person is more. We all have the capacity. The moment I decide, I choose in my life that now I want to give discernment or viveka or the power of right understanding, right judgment, the central seat in my being, there is no one who can stop me from these revelations to happen. Everything begins to make sense. Yeah. So these are ongoing experiences with Ashwapati, one after the other, one after the other. So anything in this paragraph, or shall we go ahead? Just share, unmute and share if you have anything. Any question, any doubt? I may not be able to answer it, but you are most welcome to put forward the doubt. Okay, so in absence of anything, please go ahead. Anyone who would like to go next? A great nude arm of splendor.
Yeah. A great nude arm of splendor suddenly rose. It rained the gaze opaque of nations, her lifted fingers keen unthinkable tip, bared with a stab of flame the closed beyond.
Yes. Now, owing to this power of honesty that was developing in Ashwapati, this we all we all are usually in our ignorance fooling our own self. We are all fooling our own self. We think that I don't know why this is happening to me. I don't know why I'm behaving this way. But we all, if we pause, reflect and take out some quiet time to really see why the things are happening the way they are happening, we will know that there are dishonesties, manipulations, our own weaknesses and insecurities hiding behind, waiting for us to be revealed. So when this power of discernment, honesty shines in the being, that no matter what, I will not be fooling myself anymore. This is the great nude arm of splendor. Along with this comes inspiration. Along with honesty, along with the ability to see clearly comes inspiration. So great nude arm of splendor. Nude, it's naked arm. It's not decorated. It's a naked arm. It's very, very clear, crisp and honest. It reveals things as they are. It does not want to protect any self image that we may have in our head about ourselves or others. It is very, very blunt. People say such kadwa hota hai, truth is bitter. And I think it's very true, because we all have false images about ourselves. And there is no end to the revelation of our dishonesties. There is no end. We can go on and on and on and on. This is beautiful progress that we can do on this in this life. So if we are ready that I'm not going to protect any of my self images that others or myself I may have in my head, now this power of honesty connects me with the inspiration, with something of the beyond, with a larger vision. A great nude arm of splendor suddenly rose. It rent the gaze opaque of Nescience. All the patterns lying there in the subconscious, in the semi-conscious, in the unconscious, in the inconscious, all these layers of our being, which are just lying dead or in subconsciousness, because we have not really taken the time out to pay attention to them. Only a clear sighted attention is required, or to all our patterns and tendencies. Only that is required each day of my life, every day of my life, so that they can wake up from their dream. And I am not a machine which is run by tendencies and patterns. I am an alive being. What is the difference between an animal and me? An animal is ruled by tendencies and its prakritic nature, and I am also my tendencies. So where is the consciousness that God gave us? God has given human beings a greater consciousness than animals. But we are even below the animals, because having the greater consciousness, we do not use it wisely. And we are neither true to our prakritic nature. We spoil the prakriti with the vital greed, the lust, the desire. We spoil the prakriti also. An animal may reproduce only once in the season, but a human being, owing to the vital greed, the mental greed, he would abuse the physical being also. This is not with the animal. This abuse is not present with the animals. So we have fallen even below the animals in that regard. So here, this has to be waken up. This has to get up from the sleep. And this honesty, this stark observation and inspiration was able to rent, as if it was able to pierce through the gaze opaque of Nescience. All that was lying asleep, the tendencies, the patterns I think, I behave, all that was brought to consciousness. Her lifted fingers, keen, unthinkable tip, such a sharp clarity, such a sharp vision. You cannot even imagine that vision. It will just pierce through your dishonesties. That vision, that unthinkable tip, bared with a stab of flame, the closed beyond. So not only did it go deeper in the subconscious tendencies and the unconscious within us, it also went beyond the mind. It touched all the realms which are beyond the thought mind. Usually we think that mind is thought. That is our common perception, that all that I know about mind is thought. Thought is equivalent to mind. But there are also other domains, other levels of mind, which Sri Aurobindo clearly has described. The higher mind, the illumined mind, the intuitive mind, the overmind. So this, owing to the faculty of honesty and inspiration developing in Ashwapati, he was able to pierce through all those domains also and get vaster into his consciousness. His consciousness is expanding, and further going on expanding. There is no end to this expansion. That is why we say divine is infinite, because there is no end to the expansion of a human's consciousness. You cannot say that I have now reached the divine consciousness. No. You can always be on the path, because it is infinite. It will never be completely divine consciousness. Yeah. So we can all, this progressive path is for those of us who just want more and more adventure and progress in life. Because once the divine consciousness is done, it's if it's a limited object, it's reached, then what's the fun? The fun is in the adventure. The fun is in constant shedding of the ignorance veils, veils of ignorance. Yeah. So anything from here?
Yeah, Monica, I will read out those lines from Mahasaraswati's aspect. Actually, exactly this, what you explained no, now, all the minute defects and details actually. I will
Please.
read those lines. It's very much suitable for these lines actually.
Yes. Yes.
Sherbindo is explaining about Mahasaraswati's aspect. What he is saying, Mahasaraswati is leaning over us. She notes and touches every little detail, finds out every minute defect, gap, twist, or incompleteness, considers and weighs accurately all that has been done and all that remains still to be done hereafter. Nothing is too small or apparently trivial for her attention. Nothing, however impalpable or disguised or latent, can escape her. Molding and remolding, she labors each part till it has attained its true form, is put in its exact place in the whole, and fulfill its precise purpose. Yeah, thank you.
Beautiful. Very, very relevant. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you. There is such a joy about this power of honesty. It's beautiful to recognize our own little defects here and there, and then to work upon them. It's joy, it's progress. And uh, if those of us who are feeling ready for this path, noticing all that is to be corrected, I think it is an adventure in itself. You would stop looking out for adventures, that I want to have some entertainment out somewhere, going out or traveling. You may travel, I'm not saying that do not travel, but this is such a beauty. And thank you, Chitraji, for sharing. It was so relevant. I think I'll also share that on chat window in our WhatsApp group. If you share once, where it is from, I will share it on the chat window also.
Yeah, it is in the small mother book actually.
Yeah, I have that. Yeah, I'll find
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Okay.
Magasaraswati, yeah.
Saraswati. Beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah. Great. So who wants to read next? I think this is what we have to develop within ourselves. Usually whenever we are looking within our being, maybe going through our challenges, we are usually found saying that I don't know why I am doing this. We are saying that I don't know why I am behaving like this, as if something is obscuring my vision. Now this, owing to the power of Mahasaraswati, which you were sharing, Chitraji, and this growing progressive power of honesty within me, I can see, I can pause, reflect in my silent times, and I can clearly, water aside and milk aside, with the power of discernment, that, oh my God, I was acting in that way because I had this and that weakness, or this is the fear or insecurity that I had in my being, and mother wants me to work upon that insecurity. So this, the power of looking at ourselves honestly, crudely, with rawness, without any shame, without any guilt, because this is the task to be done. I think this is so beautiful. And we all have this power of discernment. We know which path to take, which path not to take. We all have the ability to discern. It's just that the ability to discern goes bonkers when we are starkly looking at ourselves, because to us, ourselves, we are attached. So we do not dare to look at ourselves. But if we can make ourselves our own other, as if I'm looking at some other person, not at myself, but some other person, then I will be clearly able to see where I am lacking, where is the weakness, where is the progress to be made. Just like whenever we judge others, we judge very clearly. We can tell other person, okay, here you are lacking. But when it comes to us, we cannot. We are not very honest about ourselves, because we are attached to our own self images. So if this power of discernment, can become the king or ruler of our being, I think that then that would be true love. And true love is ruthless. True love is ever progressive and ruthless. It would not leave any point of obscurity in the being. It just wants greater and greater perfection. So that is the possibility lying hidden with each one of us. It's beautiful possibility. So let's read this.
Yeah, my experience in this actually, I started reading this Mahasaraswati's aspect in a very childish and ignorant way for my daughters and sons' studies. No, that aspect I used to read Mahasaraswati's aspect, but after reading for so many years, it started working in me actually. Left alone their studies and their progress, it started working in me, changing my qualities little by little, little by little. Yeah, that has that effect actually. I want to share. Yeah.
Beautiful. Yes. Anyone else?
There is a saying where they say that if a child is very small and has a learning problem or something to do with academics, this is the saying that they ask the mother to chant on Mahasaraswati and read her book, and the effect comes to the child. So I guess it's vice versa. When we read it for them, it comes to us also.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it does work. It is very strong because I did it for my daughter. Yes.
Beautiful. So who would like to go next? Read the lines in pink. Anyone who wants to go next, who has not read so far? Yeah. Yes, Swapna, go ahead, please. Yeah.
And I awake in voiceless heights of trance, a mind plucking at the unimaginable, overleaping with a soul and perilous bound, the high black wall hiding superconscience. She broke in with inspired speech for scythe and plundered the unknowable's vast estate.
Yeah. So this is a beautiful image that Sri Aurobindo is using to describe the work of inspiration. When the being has gotten still, all the worldly desires, greed, lust, ambition, it has gotten silent, it has fallen silent, knowing that that cannot give me anything. Yeah. Then the work of inspiration starts. How does it start? And I awake in voiceless heights of trance, a mind plucking at the unimaginable. This is how inspiration works. She is like an eye which is always open to the larger vision, always heights of trance, always available to the heights of vision. Hmm? And trance, usually I would say, why is it said trance? Because what we call as a waking state is when we are awake to our senses. I am able to touch, I am able to smell. That is what we call as I am awake. Yeah. But in the language of masters and mystics, this is sleep. Being available to my senses is sleep for the higher consciousness. Because all that I am just doing in the day-to-day life is just going about the physical matter, the physical body, the physical being. But we are not the physical being. We are beyond the physical being also. But we rarely are there. So I would say trance has been used here because it's a kind of a trance state, half awake. So I'm not fully considering all that I touch and sense and smell and I think about, all that is not real for me. It is a surreal state. It is a half awake state for the true consciousness. And I awake in the voiceless heights of trance. A mind plucking at the unimaginable. Imagine that you are plucking fruits from a tree. So the inspiration plucks the fruits of this unimaginable heights. You have, your ordinary consciousness, you will be never able to go there, where inspiration can go in a bit. In a second, inspiration can touch those depths. But in ordinary thought mind, emotion mind, I cannot touch those depths and heights. Yeah. Overleaping with a soul and perilous bound. Now, this inspiration is as if Sri Aurobindo creates this image that imagine there is a wall, there is a huge black wall, high black wall, hiding the superconscious, all that needs to be known, all the larger vision, the bigger picture, all that is hiding behind this black wall, this black wall of ignorance. And what is inspiration doing? Inspiration is overlapping with its power and jumping over this black wall, high black wall, hiding, which is hiding. Imagine that the other side of the black wall is a beautiful garden of the superconscious. All the knowledge, the wisdom, the beauty is lying there. And what obscures that is this black wall of ignorance. So what inspiration is doing is, inspiration is leaping through over the wall of ignorance, and with a scythe is a tool which is used for cutting the grains, a crescent shaped metallic tool. So with this scythe in her hand, this inspiration is jumping through the wall and going into the vast field of the superconscious and collecting the knowledge from there. This is the beautiful imagery that Sri Aurobindo has created. And
Yeah,
plunder,
beautiful. Yeah, very beautiful.
very, yes, and plundered the unknowable's vast estate. So this is the estate which was so far hidden from normal, ordinary human consciousness, which is veiled in heavy ignorance. But now that the being is silent and the inspiration has some space to work in the being, she is able to go past the veil of ignorance and collect the fruits of wisdom, the fruit of knowledge, and the fruit of larger vision from there. This is beautiful. I just love this image, which Sri Aurobindo has created. Beautiful. And then in the other lines, the lines coming ahead, he also goes ahead and talks about how she is collecting these infinitesimal grains of truth. She's not uh, wasting any dot in her time. She's just collecting each and every grain that is coming to her. And that reminded me of I think I'll come later to that. Yeah, for now this is enough. Anyone else who wants to comment on these lines? Yeah, this, she broke in with inspired speech. Whenever any human being is able to give a speech which is not coming from him, which is coming from the beyond, he is able to give those pointers, those hinters, which are actually hinting at absolute truth. Where it, in the second last line, it says, she broke in with inspired speech for sight. So this inspired speech is that tool which can be related to the tool which is used for collecting the grains which are now ripened and they need to be collected or harvested. So which little, with this inspired words of speech, the person or human being, he is able to address a larger community with this beautiful pearls of wisdom collected from that vast unknowables field. This is how inspiration works in a person, in any human being. Once the stillness is there, once the space for inspiration to work is there, it will work through each one of us present here. That is our highest possibility. We are growing through towards our highest possibilities. Yeah. So I think this is the last passage that I would like to take, and then we can call it a day here. Who would like to read the lines in yellow?
Okay, I shall. A gleaner of infinitesimal grains of truth, a sheaf binder of infinite experience, she pierced the guarded mysteries of world force and her magic methods wrapped in 1,000 veils, or she gathered the lost secrets dropped by time in the dust and crannies of his mounting root, mid old forsaken dreams of hastening mind and buried remnants of forgotten space.
Yes. So now Sri Aurobindo is describing further how this, imagine this lady called inspiration, and she's collecting, she's harvesting from the unknowable's vast estate, which was so far not reachable for the ordinary human mind. How is she collecting? A gleaner of infinitesimal grains of truth. Now I'll connect this again with what Chitra ji earlier was sharing, the Mahasaraswati, how she works in our being. You know, nothing in our being is obscured from the knowledge of Mahasaraswati, the power of discernment, viveka, the power of right knowing. Nothing. So this is how she works in the field also. How she works? A gleaner, you know, a gleaner, we call a gleaner a person who is, after the main harvesting has been done from the field, other people come and collect the little grains that have been left by the main harvester. So they don't want to waste all the grains that have been left in the field. They also want to collect all the little grains that have been left. This is how inspiration works. She would not leave even a little moment of my life untouched by her presence. She would collect the maximum knowledge, maximum juice out of each and every experience of life. This is how insight works. This is how power of right understanding works. That no matter whatever in my external situation I may go through, I will reap the best benefit out of that external situation, no matter how dark that situation may become in worldly matters. Yeah, this is the power of Mahasaraswati, a gleaner of infinitesimal grains of truth. I would not let any experience of my life go waste. I would extract the juice from each and every experience of my life. A sheaf binder of infinite experience. Sheaf binder, you know, when the all the grains the long stalks of grains have been collected, now they have to be bound together, you know, so they have to be collected for the trucks so that they can be transported. So she collects together all the richness of experiences in life, what Sri Aurobindo would call psychic personality. What is psychic personality? A personality growing with the soul as the center of that personality. All the richness of all experiences of life, no matter good or bad experiences, is doesn't matter to the soul. All that matters to the soul is what I took out of that experience. That is the soul's concern. That is the concern of the psychic personality. So this is how a psychic individuality grow. You know, it grows through all the richness of experiences. This is what inspiration does. She pierced the guarded mysteries of world force. She pierced through all that is veiled usually. You know, we have nature around us, we have birds around us, we have animals around us, but we fail to learn our learnings through nature. You know, it is all present in the nature. All the learnings are present in the nature. There is so much to be learned from the flow of a river, from ocean, you know, from the sky, but as if it is veiled. But owing to the power of inspiration, this comes forward. All this knowledge hidden, guarded mysteries, they come forward. They are very clearly revealed to the sight of inspiration. And her magic methods wrapped in 1,000 veils. This is a reference to the magic methods of nature. How nature is full of all the wisdom and knowledge, but it is in a concealed form. You know, nature does not say, I know, look at me, I will tell you the mystery. It does not say like that. So when one is completely, absolutely silent and being with the nature, all the guarded mysteries and wisdom from the nature is revealed in front of us when we are ready. Yeah. or or other ways how inspiration works is, or she gathered the lost secrets. Now, another imagery just Sri Aurobindo is forming here. There is another beautiful image that he shares, as if time is a person walking on the road. You know, imagine time is person walking on the road, and it is dropping secrets. It is dropping secrets, and there are cracks on the road, and there are, you know, crevices on the roads, and all those secrets are falling in those cracks and crevices, and they get covered with dust and mud and stones and whatever, yeah, on the way. Or she gathered the lost secrets dropped by time in the dust and crannies of his mounting route. So time is moving ahead and ahead and ahead forever, and it is dropping secrets. But the secrets are covered with dust in time. With the sight of inspiration, with the sight of this deep power of knowing, it is for me easy for, so that all the contents which are hidden so far, the lost secrets of time, they are revealed to me in a matter of seconds. All, if we look back in our life and we try to connect dots, why this event had to happen, why that event had to happen, now if we have the power of stillness and inspiration, it will be very, very easy for me to see that why that event had to happen the way it happened, because this was the learning coming for me this way. Yeah, so everything gets revealed, all that has been dropped by the time. Mid old forsaken dreams of hastening mind and buried remnants of forgotten space, again a reference to all that gets buried in the time, which we think that it has nothing for us, but when a stillness is there in the being, when we are open to receiving grace, then all makes sense. Everything that happens happened for a reason, but it makes sense in retrospect, because only when I have become capable enough to receive that guidance, only then it will be revealed to me, not before that. Yeah, yeah. So I think I would like to stop here. If you have anything, any one of you, please unmute and share anything from here or today's session. Okay, this line is also beautiful. She pierced the guarded mysteries. Each moment of our life, we have the capacity to see very clearly what is truth, what is false, to sort the mixture of true and false, to sort love from attachment. In each moment, we have this capacity. Once I use it, I can use it again, I can use it again, I can use it again. So slowly I develop this muscle to use this power of discernment. It may be hurtful for me at times, it may be paining me because we have images about our lives and everything. It may hurt, all of that, but it will definitely take me towards a better and a higher life, and not only me, also the other people involved, because attachment can never be good for neither for me nor for the people involved. So in each moment of time, whenever I have the capacity to choose, I must choose the highest possibility that is possible for me and the other person, which is not making us dependent, which is making us capable and take us towards more and more clarity and light. This is the possibility that we can use and also exercise our muscle slowly. Yeah. Okay, so that is there, from my side. Yeah. Thank you for joining. If there is anything, please share.
Yeah, Monica, we thank you very much for this crystal clear
Thank you.
explanation today. Really, really, for me, it is a wonderful thing. Oh my gosh.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you so
thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
It was really beautiful today.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah. Thank you.